Houston, we have go for main engine start. Begin final countdown. Roger that. Beginning countdown. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff.
Ditching Suburbia is on a mission to help families leave traditional suburban lives in search of simpler living, closer family, richer education, and uncommon adventures. Find us on the web at ditchingsuburbia.com.
Hey folks, it's Michael Boink from Ditching Suburbia. On this episode of the Ditching Suburbia podcast, I'll be reading an essay entitled, "But What About Friends?" When talking about ditching the suburbs with other families, we're often asked, what about friends? Here's the way one person asked it, and I've edited this a bit for brevity. Quote, "You guys are literally living my family's dream, but we are scared to do it for one big, fat, huge reason. My question is this. How are your kids coping with not having the traditional experience of growing up in one neighborhood? How are they dealing long-term with not having a normal childhood with stable friends? The only reason we stay put is because I'm terrified that my kids will be socially inept or have serious issues if we pull them away from family and friends and never allow them to stay in one place long enough to develop any deep, meaningful friendships. I feel like they need to have stable people around them in their lives, and I fear that a life on the road will be isolating and they won't develop the skills needed to maintain deep personal friendships." So I'll use that above question as my outline for an answer. Long term. Let's be clear here. We've only been traveling about 18 months out of the past 2 years. From a scientific perspective, this is a horrible experiment. The sample size is too small, the length of the study is too short, and we have no control group. I've often reflected on how we should possibly have a few more kids so that we could do some A/B testing with some of our more important decisions. But the truth of the matter is, we don't know the long-term impact of choosing this lifestyle over another. It's life. You evaluate your options, prayerfully consider them, and choose what you believe God is leading you to do. For us, this was a period of full-time travel for our family. Normal childhood? What is normal? And who decides what that is and what it should be? Why is normal better than unusual? Why do we want our kids to excel and stand out, not be average, but not too much, and expect that result out of an upbringing in childhood that is completely average? We see the current normal suburban culture as being very kid-focused. Many families plan their entire schedules, and hence life, around their kids. Little league, soccer team, marching band, gymnastics. Dad's at one game with one kid talking on a cell phone to mom who's at another game with another kid. Vacations get arranged around travel team schedules. Campsites get set up on Friday night, but then the minivan pulls out early Sunday morning loaded with kids wearing uniforms. These activities and schedules end up taking a higher priority than family time, or family relationships, or sibling relationships, or family adventures. A good relationship with your dad or your brother just doesn't get listed on a college application, right? This hasn't always been the American way. Families had farms or other family businesses, and if you were old enough to pick up a broom or steer a pickup truck, you were part of that business. Time for friends was a bonus. You never read about Ma Ingalls packing up the girls in the wagon to go off on a play date. We don't see where people of that generation came out the worse for it. Quite the contrary. Since the kids were needed and had some responsibility for the family well-being, they came out better prepared for life than a situation that puts them at the center and serves them first. We see a lot of kids and young adults these days who are selfish and self-centered because they've been taught to be. We were never well suited to this normal lifestyle. We place our immediate family relationships and sibling relationships higher on the priority scale than external friendships. We will always be family, but we only get to live together as that family for a few short years. Our kids have entire lifetimes to develop other friendships, and we think those friendship building skills are based in the family relationship skills that we're building together. Stable friends? People move. People change. There's no guarantee that by you staying in one place, your kids will have deep, long-lasting friendships. I grew up in one house, went to one school district, and didn't keep any school-based friends much past graduation. We just all went in different life directions. There's also the risk of that kid moving in next door and being totally the wrong influence on your own children, but the situation not easily resolvable because the only real solution is that someone has to move, and that's not going to happen overnight. Pull away? There's no reason that full-time travel has to pull away. It can also push too. We have driven hours to meet back up with families that we connected well with. We have extended our stays at campgrounds when a cool family set up camp next door. We have scheduled visits with family that we haven't seen in years. We arranged to meet other homeschoolers in the area, giving our kids a glimpse of life in a place that isn't Holland, Michigan, and their kids a glimpse of life as full-time nomads. Socially inept? As long-term homeschoolers, we've been asked countless times about socialization, and frankly, we're just tired of the whole issue. There are tons of resources online to answer this question if you are truly curious about the socialization of homeschoolers, or just go meet some. But past the homeschooling piece of it, here are some things that we have found full-time travel to offer in the way of social training. Learning to navigate new social settings, public transit, church services, farmers markets, etc., all while being able to be coached by you because you are doing it together as a family. Learning to problem solve where the solution requires using public information and conversations with strangers, like wanting to attend a posted event but needing to ask a librarian or church information counterperson for more information or directions. Learning to work through crisis, accidents, flat tires, trailer breakdowns, missed turns, lost reservations, not as advertised RV parks or attractions, etc. Learning to meet and converse with people of all ages, races, or backgrounds. Learning to appreciate veterans and senior citizens by interacting with them more. I'm confident that once our kids launch from our nest, they will be able to jump into new social settings, get oriented, and find their place because it's something that we'll have practiced together many, many times by then. Isolating. It's true, life as a full-time traveling family can be isolating. We've been the only RV in a state park campgrounds for entire weekends. Even if there are others around, they're often not families but retired people. We actually don't mind periods of either. The quiet times are great for connecting as a family unit, and we've grown to appreciate and be inspired by people of older generations that we meet. We need to remember that we are flexible. The main reason we are doing our current camp hosting job is because it offered all of us time with friends that we knew and the opportunity to meet new people who are all working together with a common goal of keeping a park running. We're working with other camp host couples, nature center volunteers, trail volunteers, park staff, park regulars, and local sheriff's deputies who have offices here. It's nice to get a free campsite and some amenities. Honestly, though, I could cover a week of camping here in less than 2 hours of billable time, so it's not a clear financial win. Opportunity cost. When you do one thing, you are not doing something else. That's opportunity cost. If you have the means, motive, and opportunity to travel extensively with your kids and don't, what will they have missed out on? Exposure to other places, landscapes, cultures, religions, languages, even, potentially and ironically, other better and deeper friendships with people that they wouldn't have otherwise met. For us, once we investigated the idea of long-term travel with our kids, the opportunity cost of not doing it was too great. So what about friends? My kids know more other kids now than ever. Just about every age mate they've met along the way has been added to their email, phone, and Facebook lists. Are they all deep personal friendships? No, certainly not all of them, but I'm sure all your friendships aren't deep either. The rest? I don't know. They're young teens after all. Overhearing their conversations and what sends them into fits of laughter can rarely be called deep. But I have to believe that somewhere in these friendships are ones that will last. I could be wrong, but either way, I can't see how being in one place for longer periods of time would guarantee better results. Like the number one worst rock lyric says, and this is from Van Halen, only time will tell if we stand the test of time. Preach it, Deep Eddie.
You've been listening to the Ditching Suburbia podcast. Ditching Suburbia helps common families create uncommon lives. Learn more at ditchingsuburbia.com.